Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. So let's talk about Carmelo Anthony explaining why he made his decision against joining Miami and the Big Three. Because, through the years, we all crucify Carmelo. He never won a championship. He should have went to Miami with Wade and LeBron. We always crucify the man. At least in most situations, everybody got something to say. But I always understood his decision. Like, at the time, he's the man on his own team. LeBron was the man in Cleveland. Wade was the man in Miami. And Wade won a championship. And he was a finals MVP. So now you're saying that prime Carmelo in his prime, that was a bad man. So now you are asking Carmelo to join Miami and become a third option. And let's be honest, everybody has an ego. Whether it's a big one or a small one, pause. Everybody has some kind of ego. And at that time, you are not going to leave your team in the middle of your prime to go join a team, a super team, and be a third option. I mean, yes, if he went to Miami, he would have won championships. But would we really look at Carmelo the same? Even though he never won a title, he gets a lot of respect and love based off his game and what we have seen through the years. Now, would it be the same feeling if he was on Miami? I don't think it would be, because you have LeBron, you have Wade, and Carmelo would be the third option. Whether he liked it or not, he would be the third option. That's just the pecking order. So here this man explaining to us why he made a decision not to go to Miami. So this is what Carmelo had to say. Before the Miami Big Three, there was talk about me and Bron because of me, him and D-Wade. I was close to both of them. Bron and D-Wade were close too, but the three of us were never locked in together until we started getting older. We had shared experiences, like playing on the World Championship team, and that's when our bond really began to blossom. I think it was because we lost together, and we felt the same pain, the same sentiment, which brought us closer. With Bron, it was always like, yo, we got to make it happen, some way, somehow. If the opportunity comes up, let's make it happen. We just never knew where. Are you going to New York? I'm not going to Cleveland. You coming to Denver? The conversation got serious after 06, 07, 08. It was supposed to be Bosh and Wade, and then me and Bron going somewhere. We just couldn't figure out where. We wanted it to be New York. Chicago was also in the fold. If we could find a place, let it be Chicago. But I was in Denver, and Bron was in Cleveland. When free agency hit, we tried to make it work. At the time of the collective bargaining agreement, I didn't understand contracts and the implication of 3-year versus 5-year deals. During the lockout, I knew a little bit, but I wasn't business savvy enough to understand what was about to happen. I was in Denver and didn't want to leave. So why take a 3-year deal? No, I was locked into a 5-year deal. You know where the F I come from. I wasn't leaving any money on the table. I was happy, winning, and building something in Denver. We had new powder blue uniforms. We were popping out there. I didn't want to leave that and risk regretting it later. I wasn't ready to team up with anyone because I was building my own legacy in Denver. Leaving that to team up with someone else wouldn't have worked, as we were all young and on our own paths. So I was like, whatever y'all do, do y'all. When I got the call about the lockout, they suggested a 3-year deal. I called my agent and said, 3 years, no conversation. I'm staying. I'm taking a 5-year deal, $85 million deal. I'm staying in Denver. I was happy. They tried to figure out how to make it work. And then it was like one of them had to take $16 million, the other $17 million. They all had to sacrifice, which I respect because it's hard to leave at that point in time. When they did it, everyone thought, Melo, you could have been the fourth one. But imagine me at 23, 24 years old, being the fourth option on a team when I was leading my team every single year. I was finding my way in the league, and you wanted me to leave that and be a fourth option? I didn't know how, if I would be mentally ready for that. It wasn't about the money. I would have had a different role. These are alphas coming together. Bron is an alpha, D-Wade is an alpha, and Chris Bosh doesn't get enough credit. He was ridiculous in Toronto. So for those three to go, and I was like, hell no, I can't be the fourth option. Hell no. I was cool in Denver. People always saw it as what if for Miami, but they don't see it from my perspective. They think Melo was selfish for taking a 5-year deal and could have had 3 rings, but a lot of times that stuff isn't worth it. They won't tell you that, but I will. They made it worth it because they figured it out, worked it out, and won consistently. They created something special down there. Who knows if it would have been the same if I had gone down there. Look at the Lakers in 03. They assembled Shaq, Kobe, Gary Payton, Karl Malone, and a solid bench, but it didn't always work like that. So that's what Carmelo had to say, and I do agree. Because like I said, if he went to Miami, joined up with Dwayne Wade, LeBron James, Chris Bosh, you're talking about prime Carmelo. We are not talking about Melo in Portland or the Lakers. We are talking about Melo in his prime, a #1 option. The only difference in winning is LeBron, Wade, Bosh came together, formed a super team. That's the only difference between them and Melo. He's correct. We never look at it from that angle. You are telling a #1 option to go be a #4 option. Because let's be honest, based on position, Chris Bosh is going to be the 3rd option. We know Wade and Bron is the #1, #2 option. So you are asking a prime Carmelo to join Miami to be the 4th option, basically. And what would his legacy be? Oh, he went to Miami. They won some chips. We wouldn't respect him like that. Yes, after the fact, we could say, he should have went to Miami and we could talk all that nonsense. But if Melo actually went to Miami, we wouldn't respect him the same. We wouldn't have gotten to see Melo, his full game because he would have to sacrifice a lot. Imagine him being the 4th option or even the 3rd option. He would have to sacrifice a lot. And nothing is wrong with sacrificing, but I'm going to agree with him on this one. I don't think it would have been the best option for him to go to Miami. Once again, there's nothing wrong with sacrificing. You have to sacrifice in sports if you want to win. But we are talking about the #1 option taking a role of a #3 or 4 in his prime. I wouldn't have liked that, honestly. This is why I have always respected Carmelo. The man wanted to win on his own. He didn't want to team up with all these dudes. He wanted to win on his own. And I respect it, even though he never got a title. Not his fault. He went to New York. He never had a team. When he was in Denver, we're talking about you had Kobe, Tim Duncan, Dirk. So he was always in a situation where, he never had the greatest teams, especially in New York. Phil Jackson destroyed this man's career, man. Like any chance he had at winning, Phil Jackson killed that whole situation. You have to look at things from different angles because we always crucify this man. Oh, he never won a title. He's overrated. What makes him overrated? I mean, Dwayne Wade won a title, but he had Shaq. LeBron won multiple titles on multiple super teams. LeBron had to leave Cleveland, go to Miami to create a super team, a big 3, just so he could win 2 rings, his first 2 rings. So look at that. Dudes had to leave their teams, go team up so they could win. But we are going to crucify this man because he never won, because he never had super teams or other superstars on his team. Is that fair? Is that ever fair to anybody? How is that fair? This is why I never hold it against him, or I never put too much on it that he never won, because the circumstances, he was in the West with all the dogs out there. I mean, all the great teams, all the greatest players, they were in the West. LeBron was in the East. Before LeBron went to Miami, the East has always been weak for years and years. I mean, the past few seasons, it gotten better currently, but the past 20 years, the East was always weak. So Melo had to deal with Kobe, Tim Duncan, Dirk, and all those stacked teams in the West. So we could all say if he did this and if he did that and he should have done this or he should have done that. But the fact of the matter is, if Melo joined Miami with Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, LeBron, or even just LeBron and Dwayne Wade, we wouldn't have looked at him the same. We just wouldn't. And his legacy wouldn't be that great. I feel like his legacy is better because he never joined Miami, because he never joined the Big 3 in Miami. I honestly feel like his legacy is better because we got to see his entire game, and we all know Melo was a monster in his prime. He was a monster. If he went to Miami, the fact of the matter is they probably would have won all 4 championships. Those 2 they lost, they probably would have won. But I hear what he's saying. And I respect it, man. The man wanted to win on his own. I have always known this. He wanted to win on his own. And how could you not respect that? But a lot of people is going to say he's overrated. He's a bum. He never won at the highest level because he never teamed up and created super teams. All his contemporaries like LeBron got 4 chips, but look at his teams. This ain't a debate of who is better, who's the better player. We're talking about teams. Look at LeBron teams. I mean, come on. The man had Wade, Chris Bosh, Ray Allen, a deep team in Miami. Then he ran back to Cleveland. He had Love, Kyrie Irving, Tristan Thompson, Iman Shumpert, another deep team. Then he went to LA. He had himself, Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, another deep team. So LeBron have always benefited from great teams. This is a fact. Kobe and Shaq couldn't get along in the early 2Ks. Shaq got traded to Miami, teamed up with D-Wade, and D-Wade was a monster. But he also had Shaq alongside him. That wasn't Shaq in his prime of prime, but he was at the tail end of his prime. He was still a solid player. These dudes played with great players, man. Yes, Carmelo played with Allen Iverson, but it wasn't a great fit. That was Iverson at the tail end of his prime, and it wasn't a great fit because they both play similar games. Even though Carmelo is a forward, they have similar games. They are scorers, basically. Hence why, as soon as Melo got Chauncey Billups, they went to the Western Conference Finals because he needed a point guard, a floor general. Even though, Allen Iverson, he's a scorer. He's a scoring point guard. So their games was too similar. But yeah, man, I love Carmelo's game. He's my favorite player. He never won. He never won, but it's all about circumstances, man, situations. And I feel like if he went to Miami, that would have destroyed his legacy, man. As far as an individual, yes, he would have gotten credit. Oh, they won. And we know what he would have done in the playoffs. That's Carmelo, but his legacy would have taken a hit. I feel like he was better off on his own, even though he never won. When you are the number one option, super young in your prime, you are not trying to be a third wheel. But yeah, man, so Melo broke down why he made the decisions he made, why he never joined LeBron, Wade, Bosh in Miami. You are hearing it from the horse's mouth. But as always, I'll holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share. Holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.